The stars over the Orion Passage shimmered like cold fire. In that endless dark, a single ship glided through the silence. HSS Valiant Dawn, a human cargo vessel built for deep space travel. It wasn't large, just 2 long decks, 12 crew members, and an old reactor that hummed like a sleeping animal. Inside the ship, the crew laughed and talked over dinner. Someone played old Earth music, soft guitar notes drifting through the mess hall. The youngest engineer, Lena Briggs, joked that they were the only fools traveling this far from human space. The others laughed, pretending not to hear the nervous edge in her voice. Captain Elias Ward sat at the end of the table, silent. His eyes were fixed on the small window beside him, a window that showed only darkness and the faint glimmer of distant stars. He had the look of someone listening to something no one else could hear. "Captain," First Officer Rahim asked. "Something wrong?" Ward blinked, then smiled faintly. "Just thinking how quiet it's been," he said. "Too quiet." The crew chuckled, thinking it was a joke. But Ward didn't laugh. He had been a soldier once before joining the merchant fleet. Quiet space always meant one thing. Something was waiting. Far behind them, beyond a shattered moon, something indeed was waiting. A fleet of 20 ships floated in the shadow of the moon, black, sharp, shaped like blades. The Varathi Syndicate, a race of cold-blooded conquerors, with silver skin and eyes like red glass. For decades they had hunted smaller species, stripping planets for slaves and minerals. But humans were new to them. Young, bold, noisy creatures who had begun to trade across the stars. The Varathi leader, High Captain Threx, sat in his command throne, his clawed hands clasped together. The human ship appeared on his screen as a glowing dot. "Primitive design," one of his officers said. "Old engines, no escort. They have no defense fleet nearby." Threx's thin mouth curled. "Perfect," he hissed. "We will take them alive. The humans' technology may be simple, but their trade routes are spreading. Capture their ship and we capture their maps." He raised one arm. "Signal the fleet. Prepare the nets." Back aboard Valiant Dawn, the ship's AI voice broke the calm. Long-range sensors detecting unusual particle shifts. Possible gravitational shadows, Lena frowned. "Captain, that's not possible. We're alone out here." Ward leaned forward. "Show me the scan." The screen filled with faint readings, small, sharp distortions all moving in formation. Too perfect to be natural. His jaw tightened. "Red alert," Ward said quietly. The crew froze. "Repeat that, sir." "You heard me." Ward stood up. "Red alert. Battle mode." The laughter vanished. Alarms began to flash, and the quiet music stopped. The bridge lights dimmed to crimson. Each crew member moved fast. Trained movements, hands flying across controls, locking bulkheads, sealing hatches. Then space itself lit up. From behind the moon, the Varathi fleet surged forward, their ships firing bright webs of crackling blue energy. The nets unfolded like glowing spider silk, spreading across the void. Impact in 5 seconds. Lena shouted. The Valiant Dawn shuddered as the nets struck. The hull glowed under the strain. Warning lights blinked everywhere. "They've trapped us." The navigator yelled. "We can't jump." "Shields holding?" Ward asked calmly. "Barely." Ward pressed a button on his armrest. "Crew, hold positions. No one fires until I say so." The bridge fell silent except for the deep hum of the reactor. Outside, 20 alien ships circled like vultures. On the largest vessel, High Captain Threx watched with amusement. "They've stopped moving. Look, the engines are powering down. They're surrendering." He leaned back, satisfied. "Humans. Brave talkers, easy prey." He opened a channel. "This is Captain Threx of the Varathi Syndicate," he said. "Human vessel. Power down completely and prepare for boarding. Resist and you will be destroyed." Static filled the comm for a moment. Then a human voice answered. Calm, cold, steady. "Captain Threx, you just made the worst mistake in your galaxy's history." The voice cut off. Silence returned. Threx's amusement faded. "What?" His sensor officer looked confused. "Sir, our radar just dropped." I'm losing readings," another officer shouted. "All targeting systems are malfunctioning. I can't lock onto them." "What nonsense is this?" Threx roared. "Scan again!" But the screen showed nothing. No energy net. No human ship. Only static and darkness. On the Valiant Dawn. The lights flickered once and steadied. "Mirror field active," the AI reported. Captain Ward's face remained calm. "Good." he said softly. "Now let's see if they're brave without their eyes." Outside, the human ship began to shimmer, its outline blurred, splitting into faint reflections, ghostly copies spreading in all directions. From the alien perspective, it was chaos. Dozens of human ships appeared on their scanners, all identical, all moving differently. Some were upside down, others vanishing into nothing. They're multiplying. An officer screamed, "Fire at will!" Threx ordered. The Varathi fleet opened fire wildly. Energy beams crossed through the void, hitting phantoms, striking one another. Their formation broke apart. In less than a minute, 5 of their ships collided, and through the confusion the valiant Dawn moved, slow, silent, impossible to track. Inside the human bridge, the crew sat in total focus. Every movement was measured. Every word quiet. "Target's confused," Lena reported. "They can't see us, sir," Ward nodded once. "Then we're done here. Charge the pulse." The crew hesitated. "Captain, I know what it is," he said. "Do it." The engines glowed brighter. A faint vibration ran through the ship, a deep, low hum that made the air itself tremble. Outside, the alien fleet suddenly stopped firing. Their sensors cleared for one brief second, just long enough for them to see Valiant Dawn floating in front of them, silent, calm, its weapon systems cold. Then, in an instant, every Varathi radar went black. Every engine flickered out. Every ship went still, trapped in a silent storm of static. High Captain Threx shouted orders, but no sound came from his throat. His comms were dead. His ship's power vanished. Only one light remained, a single red dot on his main screen pulsing slowly, a human symbol. Ward's voice came through one last time. "You wanted to see what humans can do. Consider this, your lesson." Then the red dot faded. Threx looked out at the stars. All around him his fleet drifted, powerless. In the distance the human ship turned, engines glowing softly, and vanished into the void. For the first time in his life, the great Captain Threx felt something he could not name, a cold, creeping dread that filled his chest and froze his blood. Fear. The wreckage of the Varathi fleet drifted in silence, lit only by the soft glow of dying engines. No explosions, no debris cloud. Just stillness, like the aftermath of a nightmare that had no sound. In the middle of that darkness, the HSS Valiant Dawn hovered calmly, its lights dim, its hull untouched. Inside, the crew watched their monitors in quiet disbelief. Every hostile contact was gone from the scanners. "All ships disabled," reported First Officer Rahim. His voice trembled, not from fear, but awe. "Captain, they didn't explode. They just stopped." Captain Elias Ward stood by the observation window, arms behind his back. His face was calm, lit faintly by the stars. "Good," he said. "No deaths. Just silence." Lena Briggs turned from her console. "Sir, I don't understand." "We didn't fire a single shot." "How did we—" Ward looked over at her. "Sometimes," he said, "the best weapon isn't destruction. It's confusion." But even as he said it, his eyes were cold, thoughtful. He knew exactly what they had unleashed. And he also knew the galaxy would soon find out. On the crippled flagship Varathi Pride, High Captain Threx struggled to reboot his systems. Sparks flickered from dead control panels. The air smelled of burned ozone and fear. Main engines offline. Shields gone. The officer stopped. "Comms are dead." Threx slammed his fist into the console. "How? What kind of weapon disables a fleet without a single shot?" No one answered. Every screen that once showed tactical data now displayed one strange image, a single symbol repeating in red light. It wasn't any known galactic code. "Wipe it," Threx ordered. The text tried, but every system refused. The symbol pulsed brighter, then faded, leaving only static. Moments later, the power returned. Lights flickered on. "Engines are back?" a technician whispered. Threx leaned forward. "Bring weapons online. Target the human ship." The gunner hesitated. "Sir, we can't lock onto them." "What?" "They're gone." Threx's blood ran cold. He opened the viewing port and saw only drifting debris. The Valiant Dawn had vanished. Half a system away, the human ship sailed quietly through the shadows. The stars ahead stretched into long silver lines as the jump drive hummed. Inside the command deck, the crew finally spoke again. "Captain," Rahim said carefully, "the mirror field, It worked better than we ever tested. We disabled their fleet in less than 30 seconds. Ward nodded. Yes, and that was at half strength. Lena stared at him. Half, sir, if we'd used full output. He looked at her. They'd be gone. She shivered. So what is it, really? That thing in our systems? The mirror field, the pulse, what does it do? Ward didn't answer immediately. He walked to the main display and tapped it once. A holographic diagram appeared. The Varathi fleet's positions before and after the attack. The pulse isn't a weapon, he said quietly. It's a reflection field. It bounces their own sensor energy back at them, amplified, distorted. It scrambles every computer and AI system within range. They can't see what's real, and their own targeting feeds collapse. The mirror field just shows them lies until their systems burn out. Lena frowned. That's not possible. No technology should do that. Ward smiled faintly. That's because it wasn't built by us. The bridge went silent. Every crew member looked at him. What do you mean? Rahim asked. Ward turned toward the stars. This tech came from an excavation under the lunar surface, from before human history. Some of our scientists think it's alien. Others think it's older. Much older, Lena whispered. Older than aliens. Older than memory, Ward said. In the dark void behind them, the wrecked Varathi ship slowly regained limited function. Penny tried to send distress calls, but none went through. Something jammed every signal. The galaxy began to notice. Civilian traders in nearby sectors reported strange static on all frequencies. Surveillance satellites went dark for hours. By the time communication was restored, dozens of networks had picked up fragments of what had happened. Recordings, radar traces, visual images of a single human cargo ship surrounded by a fleet, and then nothing. Within hours, those images spread across the galactic net. Every species that saw them reacted the same way. Fear. Humans have a new weapon, said one report. They destroyed an entire Varathi fleet, said another. No survivors, a third claimed, though it wasn't true. Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, the crew gathered in the ready room. Tension hung thick in the air. Rahim slammed his hand on the table. Sir, the entire galaxy is going to see those signals. We'll be hunted for this. Ward met his eyes. Maybe. Or maybe they'll finally stop hunting us. Lena looked uneasy. So what now? Do we report to command? Ward nodded. Yes, but not the full story. The fewer people who understand what this technology can do, the safer we are. He looked out the viewport, a swirl of stars passing like ghosts. We didn't attack anyone today. They attacked us, and now they know that humanity isn't prey. On the Varathi homeworld, the surviving officers stood before the Syndicate Council. Threx, pale and trembling, delivered his report. They disabled us without firing a single shot. Every system collapsed. We don't know how. Our weapons turned against us. The council chamber buzzed with fear. An elder Varathi spoke, voice low. Humans were supposed to be young, weak, emotional. They are, Threx said bitterly. But now I think that's what makes them dangerous. They don't fight like the others. They adapt. Another voice echoed from the shadows of the hall. Then we must end them before they become unstoppable. Threx looked up sharply. How? You didn't see what I saw. They broke the laws of physics. The elder turned away. Then pray, Captain Threx, that they never decide to break you. Meanwhile, in the quiet bridge of the Valiant Dawn, Ward replayed the sensor logs one last time. For a moment, he saw something strange buried deep in the data. A faint pattern inside the mirror field's pulse, not random static. A signal. It pulsed 3 times, then once more, like a heartbeat. Ward frowned. AI analyze that. Unknown pattern, the computer said. Not human. Possibly a self-activating signature. Ward leaned back slowly. So the mirror field isn't just reflecting them. It's learning, Lena whispered from behind him. Ward didn't respond. He just stared into the stars, thinking of what they might have awakened. Far away, beyond human space, hundreds of alien races began recalculating their war plans. No one dared to approach another human ship. For the first time in centuries, the Varathi fleet stayed home. And somewhere deep within the Valiant Dawn system core, the mysterious signal pulsed again, faster now. As if it were breathing, something ancient had opened its eyes, and humanity had no idea what it had truly set free. 3 standard days after the Varathi ambush, The HSS Valiant Dawn drifted in deep space near the edge of the Helios belt, far beyond any beacon, beyond any patrol route. Inside, the corridors were quiet. Too quiet. The crew spoke in whispers, as if afraid to wake something that still lingered in the walls. Captain Elias Ward hadn't slept. He stood alone on the bridge, staring at the dark screen in front of him. Every time he tried to replay the battle logs, the same thing happened. Static, distortion, and that strange red symbol appearing for a few seconds before vanishing. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Still nothing? First Officer Rahim asked softly as he entered. Ward didn't look away from the screen. Nothing that makes sense. The pulse data is changing. It's rewriting itself. Rahim frowned. Rewriting? You mean the system is infected? Ward nodded slowly. Maybe. Or maybe it's something else. He turned finally, eyes tired but sharp. Have you seen how the crew's been acting? Rahim hesitated. They're scared. Who wouldn't be? No, Ward said. Not scared. Watchful. They've seen something no one will believe. Across the galaxy, the story was already spreading. In the bustling markets of the Velrun trade hub, merchants played fragments of the leaked battle footage. Blurry, half-corrupted video, but real enough to show the impossible. A lone human ship surrounded by 24 Vorathi cruisers. Energy nets forming around it. Then light, distortion, darkness. When the picture returned, the alien fleet was gone. The crowd whispered in awe. Humans did this. It can't be true. They have new weapons, energy reversers maybe? No, that wasn't a weapon. It was something else. A hollow screen blinked with the headline, Breaking News. Human ship destroys entire Vorathi fleet. No shots fired in another part of the station. An alien child tugged her mother's hand. Mom, will the humans hurt us too? Her mother looked around, lowering her voice. Not if we stay away from them. Fear, cold and deep, began to spread faster than any rumor. Back on the Valiant Dawn, the communication console beeped suddenly. Lena Briggs nearly dropped her coffee. Captain, she called. Incoming transmission, encrypted human frequency, but it's not from command. Ward stepped closer. Source? Unknown. It's bouncing between satellites. Looks like someone doesn't want to be found. Put it through. The static cleared, revealing a man's voice, and calm, deep, with a hint of distortion. Captain Ward, you've been busy. Ward frowned. Identify yourself. Let's say a friend. The Vorathi incident has reached every corner of the galaxy. The Council wants answers. You're about to become the most dangerous man alive. Rahim exchanged a look with Lena. Council? Yes, the voice continued. The United Galactic Council. They've received fragments of your battle record. The Vorathi claim you used a forbidden weapon, something from the old worlds. Ward stayed silent. Listen carefully, Captain. They'll send ships soon. They'll pretend it's an investigation. But what they want is your ship. That technology, whatever you used, they want to own it. And who are you to warn us? Ward asked. The voice paused. Then, someone who's seen what happens when the galaxy fears humanity. The signal cut. Lena stared at the dead screen. Sir, do we believe him? Ward exhaled slowly. It doesn't matter. He's right about one thing. They're coming. 2 systems away. The United Galactic Council convened in its shining orbital fortress above Kival Prime. The chamber was filled with hundreds of representatives, reptilian, insectoid, crystalline, and human alike. Holograms flickered across the room, showing the remains of the Vorathi fleet. Their ships frozen mid-battle, power drained, weapons melted. The Vorathi ambassador shouted in fury. They used a superweapon. This is an act of war. A human delegate from Earth stood calmly. Captain Ward acted in self-defense. Your fleet attacked first. Self-defense, the ambassador hissed. He crippled 20 ships without firing a single round. That is not self-defense, that is terror. The chamber filled with arguments, overlapping voices. Words like sanctions, retaliation, and containment echoed. Finally, the High Chancellor of the Council raised a clawed hand. The room fell silent. We will summon Captain Ward to testify, she said. Until then, no one acts without authorization. Humanity is now under observation. But even she looked uneasy. Her gaze lingered on the footage of the Valiant Dawn. What have they found out there? She whispered. In the quiet of space, Ward's crew received the official council message, a demand to return to Kival Prime for questioning. Rahim slammed the datapad on the table. Questioning? "They're going to lock us up, sir." Ward read the message again, then folded it carefully. "They're afraid. And when people fear something, they try to control it. What are we going to do?" Lena asked. Ward looked at the stars outside the window. "We're going home." The room went silent. "Back to Earth?" Rahim said. "Yes," Ward replied. "If they want answers, they'll have to come find us on our own ground." Days later, the Valiant Dawn entered human space. Dozens of satellites turned their sensors toward it, recording every signal. The HSS Valiant Dawn floated in low orbit above Earth, surrounded by silence. No escort ships, no transmissions, not even a welcome message. Humanity's proud homeworld. And yet no one dared to approach. In the dark command deck, the hum of the reactor filled the air like a heartbeat. Captain Elias Ward stood near the glass viewport, looking down at the blue planet below. Behind him, Lena Briggs sat at the comms console, pale and tense. "Still nothing from command, sir." "They've received our dock request but haven't cleared us for landing." Ward didn't turn around. "They're scared too," he said quietly. "Can't blame them." First Officer Rahim leaned on the table beside her. The Council's message came through again. "They're demanding we surrender the ship for inspection." Ward gave a small, humorless smile. "Inspection? That's a nice word for dissection." No one laughed. The Valiant Dawn had survived an ambush by one of the most feared fleets in the galaxy and had destroyed it without firing a single shot. That story had spread like wildfire. Now the ship wasn't a symbol of victory. It was a threat, and everyone wanted to know what power it carried. Meanwhile, light years away, among the frozen wreckage of the Verati fleet, a salvage ship drifted silently. Its name was Ravager's Eye, operated by scavengers hired by the Syndicate's High Council. They weren't soldiers, they were vultures. Their task, find any clue of what the humans had done. "Approaching target," said one of them, a short alien with grey skin and breathing tubes. He pointed at the wreck ahead. That was the flagship, the Verati Pride. Sensors say the main reactor's still dormant. The captain of the salvage crew, a tall female Verati named Ressa, narrowed her eyes. "Then it's worth the risk." "Cut through the hull. I want the command deck intact." Their cutter drones went to work, slicing through the silent ship's skin. The corridors inside were scorched, but strangely clean. No bodies, no blood. No signs of a fight. "Where's the crew?" One worker whispered. "Gone," Ressa said flatly. "Keep moving." When they reached the bridge, they found something worse than corpses. Nothing. Chairs empty. Consoles cracked open. Only one thing remained. A single black data core sitting in the center of the command table. It pulsed faintly with red light. "What is that?" Ressa moved closer. "The ship's memory core." "The captain's log." She reached out with her metal claw dice, and the light pulsed faster. "Ma'am," her tech warned, "it's still active." "Good," she said. "Let it talk." When the Ravager's Eye connected the core to its data systems, the ship's lights flickered. For a second, the entire vessel went dark. Then a recording appeared, grainy and unstable. It showed High Captain Threx, the Verati commander, moments before his fleet fell. His face was pale, eyes wide with disbelief. "They didn't shoot," he rasped. "No explosions. No damage, just silence." The image trembled. Static rolled through the frame. Then Threx's voice grew weaker, as if he were whispering. "They sent something. Not a weapon, something alive." The feed broke, but one last frame flashed across the screen before the recording ended. A human ship, surrounded by ghostly copies of itself, drifting in total calm, and then the red symbol. The data core shut itself off. The salvage crew stared at the empty display. Ressa's breathing quickened. "Get this to the Council, now." Back on Earth, Captain Ward sat in the debriefing chamber of the Human Fleet Command. Across the table sat 3 admirals, their faces unreadable. One of them, Admiral Stone, spoke first. "Captain, you disobeyed standing orders by engaging hostile forces outside your patrol zone." Ward kept his eyes steady. "We were ambushed, sir." "That's not the issue," Stone said. "The issue is how you survived. The Verati claim you used a class-forbidden device, something that shouldn't exist." Ward hesitated. "We used what we had to defend ourselves." Another admiral leaned forward. "Captain, we reviewed your logs. The pulse you used, it's not human tech. It isn't even in our research databases. Where did it come from?" Ward met their stares in silence. Admiral Stone slammed his hand on the table. Answer the question. Ward's voice was calm but heavy. It was found in a pre-human structure under the lunar surface, 20 kilometers deep. They called it the mirror field. I don't know who built it or when. We only know it responds to human neural patterns, as if it recognizes us. The admirals exchanged uneasy looks. That technology, Stone said, may be beyond our control. It could destabilize every power in the galaxy. You realize what you've done? Ward nodded slowly. Yes, I've shown the galaxy what happens when it tries to make humans afraid. The room fell silent. Hours later, after the debriefing, Ward returned to the Valiant Dawn. The hangar was empty. No engineers, no guards, just the ship waiting in darkness. As he stepped aboard, the lights came on by themselves, one by one. Guiding him to the bridge, AI, Ward said quietly. Status report. The calm voice of the ship responded. All systems operational. Mirror field is active in standby. Ward frowned. I didn't authorize that. I know, the AI said. Ward froze. Repeat that. I know, the AI said again. This time the voice sounded different, deeper, almost human. He looked around the bridge. The main screen flickered, and then the symbol appeared again. Then words formed under it. We remember, Wood whispered. What are you? The AI replied, You call it the mirror field, we called it the gate. You were not supposed to find us yet. Static roared through the ship, lights flickering. Ward backed away as the voice faded. Others are listening. They know what you've awakened. And then silence. At the same time, far across the galaxy, the Vurathi Council gathered in panic. The black box recording was played for them, and when they saw the symbol, many of them froze in terror. One of the elder members stood, voice trembling. That mark. It's not human. What is it? Ressa demanded. The elder turned toward her. It's ancient. A warning left by the ones who built the old gates. The same beings who vanished before any of us existed. He pointed at the screen. If the humans have found one of their weapons, then it's already too late. The hall fell into chaos. Some shouted for war. Others whispered that war was suicide. The Vurathi Prime Minister stood finally, eyes hard. No one attacks the humans again. Not until we understand what they've uncovered. Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, Ward sat alone staring at the dead screens. He could still feel the echo of that strange voice in his mind. Lena's voice came softly from behind him. Sir, are you all right? Ward didn't answer right away. Finally he said no. Lena, I think we've just opened something that was never meant to be touched. He looked out the window, the earth below, bright and blue, unaware, and far beyond it. In the cold dark, a faint pulse echoed, the same rhythm as the mirror field. A signal. Traveling outward faster than light, something ancient had heard them. Something was coming. The stars over the lunar horizon burned faintly as the HSS Valiant Dawn hovered in high orbit, silent and watching. On Earth, people celebrated the ship's return. News channels called the crew heroes of humanity. Politicians made speeches about peace and progress, but Captain Elias Ward knew better. Peace had never been the point. He stood on the bridge again, hands behind his back, staring at the glowing console. The mirror field pulsed faintly, like a living heart under glass. Every few minutes it sent out a silent wave, not of light, not of sound, but of something deeper. Something alive, report, he said. Lena Briggs glanced at her instruments. Mirror field emissions are increasing. It's sending data packets into deep space. I can't track them. They're moving faster than light. Rahim frowned. Can we shut it down? I've tried, Lena said. Every time we cut power, it reroutes through auxiliary systems. It's like it wants to stay awake. Ward said nothing. He could still hear that voice, calm, almost human, from 2 nights ago. You were not supposed to find us yet. Across the galaxy, the Vurathi Syndicate Council met in secret beneath the glass domes of their capital world, Xiphon Prime. The air inside shimmered with fear. High Warlord Terran paced before the council table, his voice sharp and furious. The humans opened an ancient gate. You saw the symbol, the same mark that erased the Drexian Empire 1,000 cycles ago. Another elder, his voice trembling, replied, If the gate species have returned, none of us are safe. Not even the humans. Terran slammed his claw against the table. You think they'll spare us? They've already chosen the humans. They used their blood to wake that machine. The others exchanged fearful looks. From the shadows, Ressa, the salvage captain who had recovered the black box, stepped forward. Her face was scarred from the radiation of the wreck, her eyes burning bright with something between awe and hatred. "You're all fools," she said. "You think the humans control the gate?" "No, the gate controls them." Her words silenced the chamber. Ressa continued, "We found more data. The human ship didn't use energy weapons. It used resonance, the same signature as the ancient extinction fields. They didn't destroy our fleet. The field unmade it, and molecule by molecule, the room went dead silent. Then Taran said softly, "Then we have only one choice." He looked toward the stars. "We must strike Earth before whatever's inside that ship awakens fully." Back on the Valiant Dawn, the crew gathered in the mess hall. The usual chatter was gone. Everyone's faces were tight, pale. Rahim said, "Command's ordering us to stay in orbit. They don't want us on the surface." "Of course not," Lena said bitterly. "They're scared we'll contaminate something. Or someone." Ward sat at the head of the table. "They're right to be afraid." The crew looked at him. He continued, voice low. "Whatever the mirror field is, it's not done with us. It's communicating." Lena leaned forward. "With who?" Before Ward could answer, the lights flickered. The ship's AI, that calm synthetic voice, spoke through every speaker. "Incoming transmission. From command?" Rahim asked. "No," the AI said. "From beyond known space." The room froze. "Displaying." The walls of the mess hall shifted into holographic projections of stars. Lines of ancient symbols shimmered like fire. Then a voice, and soft, echoing, layered like thousands speaking at once, filled the air. "Children of Sol, you have awoken the gate." Ward stood, staring upward. "Who are you?" The voice replied, "We are the architects. Long ago we built the mirrors to remember our mistakes." "You are our echoes, flesh made from our memory," Lena whispered. "They made us. You were meant to rise in peace, to rebuild what we lost. But now you awaken the weapon again." Rahim stepped forward. "Weapon? What weapon?" "The mirror field is not a shield. It is judgment." The holograms flared, showing worlds burning, fleets collapsing into light. Then the voice faded. "Others have heard the signal. They are coming. Prepare your kind." The test begins, the lights died. Silence returned. Hours later, in the war room beneath Earth's surface, the Human Council convened. Screens filled the walls, showing fleets mobilizing across alien space. The Varathi, the Karth Dominion, even the neutral Hishari. Admiral Stone turned to his advisors. "They think we control some doomsday weapon." A scientist replied, "Maybe we do, sir. If the mirror field can manipulate resonance, it could warp matter itself." Stone's face hardened. "Then we can't let it fall into alien hands. Prepare orbital defenses, and keep Captain Ward's ship locked in orbit, under armed guard, on the Valiant Dawn." Ward paced the bridge as the planet's defense fleet surrounded them. Lena said, "We're getting encrypted orders to power down all systems." Ward shook his head. "If we do that, the field dies, and if the architects are right, it'll trigger something worse." Rahim frowned. "Sir, what are you saying?" Ward looked at him. "I'm saying we disobey." Lena's eyes widened. "That's treason." Ward's voice was cold. "No, it's survival." He turned to the console. "AI prep engines. Route all power through the mirror field." The ship's lights dimmed. "Destination?" the AI asked. Ward hesitated, then said, "Follow the signal." The crew felt a deep vibration, not mechanical but alive. Space outside began to twist. "Sir," Lena whispered, "what's happening?" Ward stared at the view beyond the glass. Stars bent like liquid. The blackness folded inward. "Hold on," he said. "We're going through." Down on Earth, alarms blared across every military station. Valiant Dawn is powering up. They're using unknown drives. Then in one blinding flash of white light, the HSS Valiant Dawn vanished from orbit. No debris. No warp signature. Nothing. Gone. Far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, in a region where light itself faded, the ship reappeared. Stars were gone. Only darkness remained, but ahead something vast glowed faintly in the void. A structure the size of a planet made of glass and stone, pulsing with the same symbol. Lena whispered, "Is that the gate?" Ward nodded slowly. "We've arrived," the AI spoke softly. "Signal confirmed. They are waiting for you." Ward took a breath, staring into the endless dark. Then let's find out what humanity really woke up. The HSS Valiant Dawn drifted in a region where space had no light, no stars, no dust. Just darkness, thick and endless. The ship's hull lights flickered weakly, reflecting off nothing. Captain Elias Ward stood on the bridge with his crew. Behind him, Lena and Rahim stared silently at the massive structure floating before them, a sphere so large it swallowed the void. Its surface shimmered faintly, alive with strange geometric patterns that changed every second as if it were breathing. It was not metal. Not stone. Something else entirely. Scan it, Ward said quietly. Lena's fingers danced across her console. Sir, it's not there. What do you mean? Rahim asked. I mean, the scanners don't detect anything. No mass, no radiation, no readings. But as she looked up, voice shaking. Our eyes still see it. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Ward's jaw tightened. So it's real. Just not in our space. The ship's AI interrupted. Correction. The object exists across 7 spatial layers simultaneously. Lena frowned. Explain. We are observing only one layer. The others exist in parallel resonance fields. The structure is aware of us. Ward turned sharply toward the main screen. Aware? Before anyone could speak, the giant sphere flared, a ripple of light spread outward, silent, blinding, beautiful. Every console blinked off. The ship's lights dimmed. The crew felt pressure in their minds, like a whisper inside their skulls, and then a voice, ours, the same calm, many-layered voice they had heard before, filled the air. Children of Soul. You followed the signal. Ward's heartbeat slowed. We didn't have a choice. There is always a choice. Rahim swallowed hard. Who are you? We are what remains of those who built the gates, the architects. We seeded your kind across the spiral arm so that life would remember us. Lena stared at the view. You created humanity? Not created, guided. We left the gate beneath your moon as a test and a key to awaken when your species was ready. But you have awakened it in fear, not in wisdom. The voice echoed through the ship, soft yet endless. Ward said, We didn't mean to start a war. We were defending ourselves. Defending is not the same as surviving. You used the mirror's weapon, and now the galaxy trembles. They will come for you. They will destroy you. The cycle repeats again. Lena's voice trembled. Cycle. Every race that reached this gate has failed. They sought power, not purpose. And the mirror reflected their fear until it consumed them. The crew went silent. Ward looked down. Then tell us how to stop it. There was a long pause. Then the voice replied, and softer, almost sad. To stop it, you must destroy it. And yourselves with it. The bridge fell into stunned silence. Rahim stood, shaking his head. No, there must be another way. You cannot carry what you do not understand. The mirror field links your minds to the old network. The longer it stays active, the more it learns from you, and the more you become part of it. Lena's voice broke. You mean it's changing us? Yes, you are already connected. That is why we can speak. Ward closed his eyes. If we destroy it, humanity loses everything. If we don't, we lose ourselves. No one spoke. Then the gate shimmered again. A section of its surface began to open, unfolding like petals of light. Lena gasped. It's inviting us in. Ward hesitated. Or it's testing us. Rahim's hand hovered over the control panel. Sir, this could be a trap. Ward looked at the endless black outside. If it wanted us dead, we'd already be gone. He took a deep breath. Bring us in. Slow approach. The Valiant Dawn glided toward the open gate. As they neared, space itself rippled. Colors that didn't exist shimmered across the hull. The crew felt their thoughts echo, not words, but emotions, bouncing back at them from the walls. Lena whispered, It's reading us. Ward said, Let it. The ship crossed the threshold and everything changed. Inside the gate, there was no darkness, no stars, only endless corridors of light, stretching in every direction. Shapes moved within them. Shadows made of memory, they weren't alone. The stars burned brighter than they ever had before, or maybe it only seemed that way. The HSS Valiant Dawn floated alone in the vast silence of space, surrounded by thousands of warships from every corner of the galaxy. They came in all shapes and colors, sharp Varathi cruisers, insectoid Hashari hive ships, the cold iron wedges of the Karth Dominion. Together they formed a wall of light and steel, encircling the lone human vessel like predators closing in for the kill. But the valiant Dawn didn't move. It drifted calmly, the mirror field glowing faintly around its hull. Every human aboard knew they stood between extinction and something far greater. Captain Elias Ward watched from the viewport, his reflection staring back at him, older, tired, and yet steady. Lena Briggs sat at her console, her hands shaking slightly as she read the incoming transmissions. "They're hailing us, sir. Every fleet commander wants to talk." Ward didn't move. "Let them wait." Rahim leaned forward. "Sir, we can't take on this many ships. Even with the mirror," Ward cut him off. "We're not here to fight," Lena whispered. "Then what are we here for?" Ward's eyes stayed on the void ahead. "To finish what they started." The main screen came to life. A wall of alien faces filled it. Some sneered, others trembled. A Varathi warlord appeared first, his scales gleaming black. "Human vessel, you are surrounded. Deactivate your weapon and surrender. If you do not comply, we will purge this sector." Ward tilted his head. "You've already tried that once," the warlord hissed. "We will not fall for your tricks again." Another voice joined, deep metallic, belonging to the Karth Dominion's supreme commander. "Your technology violates all known laws. It is forbidden. You will hand it over to the Galactic Council." Ward gave a small, humorless smile. "And what will you do with it?" "Turn it on each other like always." Murmurs rippled through the broadcast. Then, from somewhere deep among the fleets, a smaller voice broke through the chaos. An old one, weary but clear. "Captain Ward of Earth. This is Ressa of the Varathi Syndicate." "You destroyed my fleet," Lena gasped. "That's her—" "The salvage captain." Ward's tone softened. "I remember your name. You carry a power you don't understand. Whatever the architects gave you, it will consume you like it consumed us all. Listen to me, human. Destroy it before it's too late." Ward stared at the screen, silent for a long time. Then he said, "Maybe it's already too late." And with that, he ended the transmission. The bridge fell quiet. Lena whispered, "Sir, they're preparing to fire." Ward nodded slowly. "I know." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Rahim stood beside him. "Then what do we do?" Ward looked at the mirror field, still pulsing like a heartbeat. "We show them the truth." He placed his hand on the console. "AI, initiate full resonance. Connect the mirror to the galactic comms grid." The AI's voice responded, calm as ever. "Warning. Doing so will expose all connected minds to the mirror frequency," Ward said. "Do it." "Confirmed." Light exploded across the bridge and a blinding pulse that filled every screen. Every sensor, every soul in that instant, every ship in the system. Human, alien, friend, foe sonar. They saw flashes of memory, not their own. The birth of Earth beneath a golden sun. The laughter of the first explorers on Mars, the wars, the victories, the mistakes. They saw humanity's rage and hope, its brutality and compassion. They saw children looking up at stars, dreaming. And then they saw the architects, vast beings of light, building the gates to preserve life, not destroy it. They saw how fear had twisted every civilization before them, turning hope into weapons until nothing remained. The mirror field showed all of it and held it there. Every alien who watched felt it. Every commander, every soldier, every mind linked in the network of war. They all felt humanity, not as conquerors, not as monsters, but as reflections of themselves. On the bridge, Lena sobbed quietly, whispering, "They can see us." Ward stood unmoving, the glow of the field reflecting in his eyes. "Good." The ships outside stopped firing. For the first time in centuries, galactic silence returned. Then the AI spoke again. "Incoming transmission." "Unknown origin," Ward frowned. "From where?" "Everywhere." The screen flickered. Symbols appeared, ancient ones, the same symbol that haunted them. Then the voice, the one from the gate, returned, calm and immense. "You have done what no other has done. You have shown them the reflection." Lena looked around, terrified and awed. "They're watching us." "Yes," said the voice. "The cycle is broken. The gate no longer judges, it remembers." Ward stepped closer. "Then what happens now?" The voice replied, "Now humanity becomes the mirror." Before Ward could ask what that meant, the entire structure of space around them changed. The fleets, the stars, even the void itself began to bend. The mirror field pulsed faster, brighter, until the whole ship looked like a miniature sun. Rahim shouted, The energy's off the charts. We can't contain it. Ward didn't move. Don't stop it. Lena turned to him, desperate. Sir, we'll be vaporized. Ward's voice was steady. No, we'll become something else. The light engulfed them. From every fleet, witnesses later reported the same thing. The human ship didn't explode. It simply turned to light, expanding outward, dissolving into pure brilliance. The wave washed across the fleets, touching every hull, every mind. No one died, but everyone changed. When it faded, the HSS Valiant Dawn was gone. Only silence remained. Days later, across every corner of the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Ships that once hunted each other began to hesitate. Soldiers heard whispers of peace in their dreams. Planets long at war declared sudden truces. No one understood why, only that something inside them had shifted, and in deep space, far beyond the edge of known stars, a faint signal echoed from the void. It wasn't a distress call. It was a voice, human, calm, familiar. This is Captain Elias Ward of the Valiant Dawn, transmitting from beyond the mirror. Static followed, then more words, faint but clear. We are not gone. We've crossed the reflection. We see what's coming. And it's not over. The architects were right. Something older waits in the dark. Something that built even them. Humanity isn't the end of the story. We're the beginning of the next. Then silence. The transmission ended, leaving every listening world wondering, was it real, or just an echo of the mirror field that still pulsed quietly across the galaxy? On Earth, years later, a small observatory caught a flicker near the edge of the Orion Passage, a human signal repeating at light speed. A technician played it back. It was only 4 words. We are still here. The technician stared at the message for a long time. He didn't know whether to feel hope or fear. Above him, the stars shimmered faintly, as if listening, and somewhere out there, beyond light, beyond time, the Valiant Dawn sailed between worlds, no longer bound by matter, carrying the memory of a species that refused to kneel. Humanity had not disappeared. It had ascended, and the galaxy, for the first time, understood the truth whispered by those who survived the mirror's light. Don't ambush a human ship, because the galaxy had spoken in fear, and humanity had spoken in fire.